Kunj Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yamunatiravanachari. Yamunatiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yamunatiravanachari. Yamunatiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaum Vishnupad Param Sapravrajakacarya Stottarashata Shri Srimad Shila Abhaichandra Navinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shaharidas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kundarata Kundagiri Govardhan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol. O glorious assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. O glorious assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. O glorious assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. O glorious to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. O glorious to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pashta Bhutale Shmadhanadana Swamriti Namini. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pashta Bhutale Shmati Bhaktivedanta Swamriti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadi Shatarini. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. 18th chapter, entitled Perfection of Renunciation, text 47. We don't have the written verse. Okay. 1847. Everyone can sing? Repeat. Maybe it shouldn't be so much disturbance. Okay. I will read it alone. Shrayan svadarmo viguna paradharmat svanushthitat Svabhavan yatam karma kurvan apnoti kilbisham. Shrayan bhata svadarmaha, one's own occupation, vigunaha, imperfectly performed, paradharmat, then another's occupation, su anushtitat, perfectly done, svabhavan yatam, prescribed according to one's nature, karma, work, kurvan, performing, na, never, apnoti, achieves, kilbisham, sinful reactions. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Purport. One's occupational duty is prescribed in Bhagavad Gita. As already discussed in previous verses, the duties of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra are prescribed according to their particular modes of nature. One should not imitate another's duty. A man who is by nature attracted to the kind of work done by Shudras should not artificially claim to be a Brahmana, although he may have been born into a Brahmana family. In this way, one should work according to his own nature. No work is abominable if performed in the service of the Supreme Lord. The occupational duty of a Brahmana is certainly in the mode of goodness, but if a person is not by nature in the mode of goodness, he should not imitate the occupational duty of a Brahmana. For a Kshatriya or administrator, there are so many abominable things. A Kshatriya has to be violent to kill his enemies, and sometimes a Kshatriya has to tell lies for the sake of diplomacy. Such violence and duplicity accompany political affairs, but a Kshatriya is not supposed to give up his occupational duty and try to perform the duties of a Brahmana. One should act to satisfy the Supreme Lord. For example, Arjuna was a Kshatriya. He was hesitating to fight the other party. But if such fighting is performed for the sake of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there need be no fear of degradation. In the business field also, sometimes a merchant has to tell so many lies to make a profit. If he does not do so, there can be no profit. Sometimes a merchant says, "Oh, my dear customer, for you I am making no profit." But one should know that without profit the merchant cannot exist. Therefore, it should be taken as a simple lie if a merchant says that he is not making a profit. But the merchant should not think that because he is engaged in an occupation in which the telling of lies is compulsory, he should give up his profession and pursue the profession of a Brahmana. That is not recommended. Whether one is a Kshatriya, a Vaishya, or a Shudra doesn't matter if he serves by his work the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even Brahmanas who perform different type of sacrifice sometimes must kill animals because sometimes animals are sacrificed in such ceremonies. Similarly, if a Kshatriya engaged in his own occupation kills an enemy, there is no sin incurred. In the 3rd chapter, these matters have been clearly and elaborately explained. Every man should work for the purpose of yagya, or for Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anything done for personal sense gratification is a cause of bondage. The conclusion is that everyone should be engaged according to the particular mode of nature he has acquired, and he should decide to work only to serve the supreme cause of the Supreme Lord. The translation of verse again. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhivacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavindam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, this is very interesting verse, and also the purport, isn't it? Is teaching us to tell lies, as if we are merchants. Yes, and in fact, it's not just interesting; it's very important verse. There are just two verses in Bhagavad Gita that are repeated, and this is one of them. It's repeated. It's also this verse appears first two lines in third chapter. There is Shrayan Svadharmo Vigunaha Paradharmat Svanishtitat Svadharme Nidanam Shrayaha Paradharmo Bhayavaha. And he says it's better to perform one's own duty, even imperfectly, like it says, than to perform others' duty perfectly. This is the same. It says, Swadharmi Nidanam Shrayaha. It's better to be destroyed performing your own duty, because performing of others' duty is bhayavaha, is fearful, is dangerous. It's dangerous. Yes, and here it says that by performing one's own duty, one doesn't get sinful reactions. Napnoti kilbisham. Kilbisham means sins. Na apnoti. He doesn't get sinful reactions. So we should know that this verse is explained, both of them, in two ways. And Prabhupada in his purport combines these two explanations in one purport, one meaning. Yes, and one meaning is applied to our body. That means our current situation in which we live. That means we live in this body. And therefore, everyone has some particular nature acquired by the body. And of course, by the gunas, the body itself is composed by gunas, and also our mind and so on. And other application is about our soul, ourselves, as our spiritual selves. So, and as Prabhupada explains, every work should be performed, and it's also explained in third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Yagyartat karmano nyatra lokayan karma bandhana tadartam apikanta muktah sangah samachara. That work should be performed, of course these duties should be performed for the pleasure of the Lord. And then we will always be free, liberated, on the liberated platform. If one performs anything for his own pleasure, he'll be bound. He is bound, or she. He's a slave of his own passion and material desires. And it's interesting that this verse is discussed now, because it supports whatever we discussed in our seminars. And we discussed the raising the children in Krishna consciousness. And we discuss how important it is that father perform his father's duties and mothers perform their mother's duties according to their nature. And according to these verses, Shri Prahlad Nrsimha ki jai. According to these verses, it's dangerous to perform others' duties perfectly, even if we don't perform our duties perfectly. It's better to perform our duties, even imperfectly, than perform other duties perfectly. That means if a father performs mother's duties perfectly, acts like a mother, this is detrimental for the child. Because he lacks fatherly authority. And even father cannot, if he cannot perform his duties perfectly, it's still better to be a father to a child than to be a perfect mother. And the same for mother. She should be mother to a child, even if she cannot perform this perfectly. But if she would act like a father, the child would lack love that should be felt from the mother. So it is detrimental to follow some others' duties, even perfectly. And it's dangerous to perform others' duties. There are so many examples. For example, if some merchant would become a brahmana, because he wants to become a brahmana, for example. Because of his nature, he would bring this merchant mentality into Brahminical work, Brahminical duties. And he would, because if this is his nature, he cannot do without it. He would try to make money by his Brahmanhood. It's completely natural for him. But he will ruin the position of a Brahmana. Everyone would criticize Brahmanas because of this. Yes. So this is extremely important. Or if a Kshatriya becomes, I don't know, temple commander, then he would terrorize brahmacharis in the temple, who are by nature more Brahminically inclined. So he will cause disturbance. Yes. So it's not beneficial to play another's role. And another explanation of this verse is paradharma, which means others' duties, applies to our body. Because we should understand this verse also in the sense, because just few verses later, Krishna says, Sarva dharmam parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja ahantvam sarva papebhyo mokshayisham ashucha. So, abandon all kinds of dharma and just surrender unto me. So one may think, he forgot what just he said few verses before. That we should perform our dharma. And few verses later he says, abandon all dharma. How many verses later? 20 verses, Not even 20 verses later. So, yes. But we should understand that Krishna didn't forget what he said, and we should have proper vision of the holistic view of what Krishna is saying. So this paradharma, others' duties, applies also to our body. We should not be implicated in this body. So we should not identify with this body. We should know that we are spirit, soul, spiritual being, and our only duty is to connect to Krishna. So if we perform our duties, they should be performed only for the pleasure of Krishna. This should be our meditation. That our performance of duties is our mission for the Lord. How to spread Krishna consciousness. This is our only purpose. How to spread Krishna consciousness. We have received this precious jewel of pure devotional service. We should understand how precious it is. We sometimes tend to forget. And if we distribute this jewel to others, then our jewel becomes bigger and bigger. We get more and more of mercy. But if we keep it for ourselves, what we received, then we have less and less and less. So this should be our meditation, how to give these precious jewels to others. And every situation is beneficial for this purpose. So even if we are introspective, very reserved person, so we don't go and preach to everyone, we can still cook prasad for preachers or for people in general, or we can clean the temple, which is meant for the spreading of Krishna consciousness, or whatever. But this should be our meditation. As we explained before, this is not the movement of performing work, even if it is worshipping the Lord. It's the Krishna consciousness movement. There should be consciousness, meditation, to know what we are doing. It should be a purpose for which we are doing. And the purpose is what? Yes, to satisfy the Supreme Lord. This is our purpose. To be the Lord happy. Yes, and our gurus to be happy. This is our purpose. To satisfy our gurus, because Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastra. Guru is directly Krishna. So we should have this meditation. Yes, I want to make Krishna happy. I want to spread this Krishna consciousness movement. And if we have children, this is our foremost duty, to spread Krishna consciousness to our children. Not earning money. Because many times grihastas consider that their duty is to earn money and to give children nice facilities of home, clothing, good food, good facilities, good education. But what is achieved by this? If we miss this point that children should get the precious jewel of Krishna consciousness, we put them in the lap of death, even with all those facilities. So, and if we don't give this knowledge to others, we just look how people are dying, unaffected. But the spiritual person is paradukha dukhi. He's suffering when he sees others suffering. So our purpose is to be merciful. Our purpose is to give this jewel to others. Yes. The idea of Vedic civilization is Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu. Let all living entities be happy. And therefore, of course, the best is if the whole society is formed in this way. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is written in first canto, in this incident when Kali personified was beating the bull and the cow, that powerful king should kill such culprits immediately. Prabhupada says in the purport. So, and thieves and robbers and other culprits should be killed immediately. Yes. So this is also for the purpose of showing mercy. This is not merciless, because modern society thinks that this is cruelty. If someone is stealing, that he should be killed. There is no death penalty anymore. Maybe in some countries, and by modern civilization they are considered barbaric. But yes, this is for the benefit of the society, to spread Krishna consciousness, to everyone to be happy, for everyone to be happy. And if the king is very powerful, then the culprits hide themselves. It's explained like this. And when the king is weak, then they appear and disturb the society very much. So yes, everyone should perform their duties for the Krishna's pleasure. And this Varnashram system, because what we have read here is basically Varnashram system, is also formed by Krishna, because Krishna himself has established the Varnashram system just to be peaceful and therefore happy. But modern society, no one knows what his nature is. What's my nature? What should I do? I'm not interested in anything. Have you heard such thoughts? Or maybe you have such thoughts. Yes, this is natural in such a society. To have marriages in different varnas, and then we can get such mix that no one knows what's one nature. And it's interesting that for the breeding of animals, they know that there should be pure breeding of animals, and then we get the best animals. And this is normal, scientifically proven, even here in the West. But when this comes to the human being, they think that this doesn't work. It's crazy, because human being on the bodily level is just another kind of an animal. Yes, and works the same way. But here we don't follow this rule for the people. For the animals, yes, but not for the people. So everyone is disturbed. Her father may be a farmer and son is a computer engineer. Something completely different. And he's not enjoying this. And he would not enjoy farming. So he's unfortunate from the beginning of his life till the end. And everyone is like this in modern society. So Krishna consciousness is the only solution. So just surrender to Krishna. And even if you have some social position, of course everyone has some social position because we live in society, we perform those duties, but our main focus in life is Krishna's satisfaction. So if I'm brahmachari, my focus is to learn Shastra very thoroughly and to serve my spiritual master. And if I'm grihastha, my duty is, of course, to live in society, to perform some work and support my family, but foremost duty is to bring my children and my wife to Krishna consciousness. My dependents, and if I'm a mother, my children, to Krishna consciousness. And if I'm vanaprastha, I'm retired personality, our purpose should be to get detached from material environment, and to start to preach what we have learned through our life. Of course, if we are sannyasi, our only duty is to give mercy to the whole world by teaching them Krishna consciousness, to give them right perspective. So we can see, if we follow Krishna's advice, then our only meditation is Krishna's satisfaction, according to our current position. Yes, you have a question, please. What? It's the same. Everyone has his own social position. So if a lady is a brahmacharini, so she should also learn Shastra. And perform her service according to Guru's instruction. And if she's a mother, she should perform her duties and give Krishna consciousness to her children. Children should drink the holy name with her mother's milk. then you marry. In between, there shouldn't be in between. It's not beneficial to be without ashram. In between means without ashram, basically. It's not beneficial to be without ashram. Because without ashram means I'm independent. I think I'm independent. But no ashram is independent. So ashram means spiritual shelter. And independence means illusion. Because we're not independent. Never independent. Not even for the fraction of a moment. We are completely dependent on society. Completely. And in Vedic upbringing, it was the brahmachari who went to Gurukula, he understood this because he was trained like this. Every day they went out and begged door to door for food. So they understood, I'm completely dependent on the mercy of the society. And those grihastas who such a brahmachari came to beg, they knew my son is also somewhere else in some gurukula and begging door to door, so my duty is to give something. So whole the society was trained in to be interconnected, not to be independent. Even king's son had to go to gurukula and beg door to door. Yes. And just for illustration, how we are completely interdependent. For example, if we want to get a screw, you know what is a screw? There should be iron mines for us to get a screw. Iron mines. And there should be these trains and trucks and roads created for this, and shops and shopkeepers and merchants and I don't know what else, that we get just single screw. We are completely interdependent for everything. So much engagement of whole society should be there just for one screw. Just for one screw. So this idea to be independent is demoniac. But we are all brought up with this idea to be independent because it seems so easy to be independent. Then we are not responsible to anyone. It's so pleasing. I'm just dependent on myself. Yes. Is there a mic, maybe? If the woman doesn't want to become a mother, then usually she'll be unfortunate. Maybe not in the young age, but when she's in the mid-40s, she'll feel alone. And 50s, she'll feel more alone. And 60s. So this is a nature of a woman to have children. Of course, this society is crazy and taught women not to have children. And this is acquired nature. And so these women are in some way schizophrenic. Biological nature tells something, and acquired nature tells something else, completely different. And both natures are completely ingrained in our heart. Because we are taught in this way from the very beginning of our life. Not just by our parents, but the whole society is permeated with this idea, with this energy. In school, in kindergarten, in everywhere we go. In the street we see signs. Everywhere is emanating this energy. So of course, everyone has this acquired nature deeply in our heart. But there is also biological nature, which is completely different to this modern idea. And Krishna's teaching is according to our biological nature. Don't do anything which is not in your biological nature. If you do according to your biological nature, it is not sin, he says. Even if performed, if it's not perfectly performed. And in next verse, Sahajam Pikanteya, it says that this work you perform is always defective. Some defect. As a fire is covered by smoke. So don't lament. Sakajam karma kaunteya sadosham api natyajit. Even though there is dosha, we shouldn't give it up. Dosha means fault. Yes. So, if a woman doesn't want to have children, she's unfortunate. She's unfortunate. What can I say? Then I have no idea what to do. Then she can be a mother for whole world, and spread Krishna consciousness, like Vanaprastha. So she has to learn Shastra very thoroughly and teach others or support the teachers. Something. She has to have some mission in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, she would be completely lost. So, mission is important. That will give us the purpose in life. If we have no mission, we are completely lost and afraid, always afraid. Yes. Vanaprastha ashram is preparation to be completely detached from this world. This is Vanaprastha ashram. And of course, also Vanaprastha has this mission to give this precious jewel to everyone. To give this precious jewel of Krishna consciousness to everyone. This is Vanaprastha's mission. To get detached from this world. Because Vanaprastha means 50 years plus. Because, of course, nowadays when people have children at 40 and even later, that is becomes 65 plus. So we discussed this yesterday, that it's best to perform our duties according to time. When it's time for something, then it's the best. It's easier and the best. So modern society is so far away from Krishna's plan. So far away, and therefore everyone is suffering. Even devotees. They are also part of this society, and they cannot get out of it. And so they also suffer. They also have children at 50. I know one friend of mine, he's a devotee. And he has a just newborn child. No, he's not even born yet. But he's 50 plus. So, yes, he'll be free of responsibility when he will be 70. And and at this age it's natural to get more and more detached. You're not in the prime of your energy. You don't have energy to perform work anymore. You want to get out of this job as soon as possible. But this is not proper if you have young family. So it's so much complications come with this if we don't perform our duties when it's time for it, for them. So yes, this is vanaprastha, to get detached from this nature and to give Krishna consciousness to the whole world. Okay? Vana means forest. So vanaprastha goes to the forest. Of course, this is the traditional concept, and no women accepted vanaprastha ever. This was not meant for women. This was meant for men. And women were never independent. As young girls, they were under the protection of their fathers. Then, when they were adults, were under the protection of their husband. And when they were old, they were under the protection of their grown-up sons. This was the system. This is Krishna's system. And if we follow Krishna's system, then we are peaceful and happy. If we don't follow Krishna's system, then good luck. Then we'll be miserable in so many ways. Because Krishna is Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, is benefactor of all living entities. So he knows. If anyone knows, Krishna knows what is beneficial and what is not. So, what to say? If women want to be without family, without protection, then they can try and follow the man's path to become vanaprasthas, and in some way sannyasinis. This is also possible. And we have examples also, great saints, women saints, who are completely as a sannyasis, but they were extremely rare. But it is possible. So you can follow their path and become a great saint. Yes, this is recommended. For example, Mirabai was like this. Yes. Okay. Not necessary. Not necessary. But to be completely detached from this world and give motherly love to the whole world. Krishna's love. Krishna's love through your heart to the whole world. Yes, it's possible. So you can try to follow this example of most elevated women. Yeah. You are encouraged to do so. Men sannyasi, yes, they should travel. It is explained that they stay at the house just for the cow to be milked, and they sustain only by drinking milk here and there. Yes. So they're completely out of this world. They should be like this. Just dedicated completely to Krishna. Whatever comes, comes. And they take it just as Krishna's mercy, everything. And we should also take everything as Krishna's mercy, even if we are in our social position. Yes. Anything else? Yes, please.
For the nice class, Bhagavad Prabhu, you said that about the service of the temple commander, if a kshatriya or devotee with kshatriya tendencies is doing this service, it might not be so beneficial, but I always thought actually that, for example, the service of temple commander is actually meant for devotees who have this inclination. Maybe you could explain.
Yes, interesting. Kshatriya, of course, means the one who protects. And he has to be sometimes very violent. It is mentioned here in this purport that Kshatriya is in fact a trained killer. Yes, Arjuna, for example, we think Arjuna is a saintly personality, and of course he is. But he was a trained killer. Every kshatriya should kill without any consideration. Therefore, this weakness of his in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita is not proper for a kshatriya. And Krishna immediately reprimanded him. You're not acting properly. For example, Krishna and Arjuna went to protect Khandava forest. In fact, to facilitate Agni to consume Khandava forest. In 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because this Agni, the demigod of fire, had consumed in different sacrifices too much ghee. And he had digestive problems because of this. And this Khandava forest was full of medicinal herbs. And he wanted to consume this Khandava forest to get better. But the Khandava forest was under the protection of Indra. And whenever he wanted to consume Khandava forest, Indra sent rains to extinguish the fire. And then he asked Arjuna for help. And Arjuna came there with Krishna on the chariot, and the Agni started to consume the forest. And Indra immediately sent showers to extinguish the fire, as usual. But Arjuna was created a protective shield with his arrows. So it was like a roof above this forest. The whole forest was full of arrows. He was so expert archer that there was a protective shield. So no drop of rain fell into the forest. And when the fire was consuming the forest, animals in this forest were running out because they didn't want to be burnt. And every animal that wanted to escape was shot by Arjuna and killed immediately, without any consideration. And then Mayadanava was also a demon, was in that forest, and he took shelter of Arjuna and begged him for protection, and he protected Mayadanava, and he created then an assembly hall for Pandavas. So he was a trained killer, merciless, one would say. So Kshatriya should be a powerful man, and he will be, of course, most strict, because Kshatriyas are like this. They are extremely strict with themselves, and they are competitive persons. They want to compete, want to be the best. They have this passion. Is very much present in them. Passion and also goodness. But passion is really conspicuous, very obvious. So they're very strict and competitive, and they want to be the best by nature. And because they are very strict to themselves, they will demand this very strictness, this severe strictness also from others. But usually in the temple, the brahmacharis, at least they should be more brahmanically inclined. And they're not as severe mentality than Kshatriyas. But if a Kshatriya is a temple commander, he would demand such severeness from others also. And he can be merciless in this and punish those who don't follow his instructions, because this is his nature to punish. As we hear from the purport of Srila Prabhupada, he has to punish. This is his nature. So, then everyone will suffer. Of course, there is no pure Kshatriyas anymore. So if temple commander has some kshatriya nature, this is beneficial because he has not sheer kshatriya nature. And if he is living in a temple, we can assume he has also a Brahminical nature to some degree, because these natures are all mixed in modern society. It's not, no one is sheer Brahmana, no one is sheer Kshatriya, no one is sheer Vaishya. In fact, it is explained in Shastra that in Kali Yuga everyone is born as a Shudra. So, but we are Brahminical movement. Everyone can become a Brahmana. And even beyond Brahmana, when everyone can become a Vaishnava. Because it is says, Nashta Prayeshva Bhadrashunityam Bhagavata Siva Bhagavat Yuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By following the path of pure devotional service, our devotion will become fixed. And we have seminar on this. And then the next verse explains, Tadara Justamo Bhavaha Kama Lobhadayashchaye Chaitaritananavitam Stitan Sattve Prasidati. Then we can transcend Tadara Justamo Bhavaha, Rajas and Tamas, and Kama and Lobha. And we are situated in goodness. And goodness, of course, is Brahminical trait, Brahminical nature. So, yes. And then we transcend goodness also by devotional service. So sometimes people, devotees, think that one should be established in goodness and then perform devotional service. But this is the other way around. Without devotional service, no one can come to the level of goodness. So we should perform devotional service, and then we can come to the level of goodness. Okay? I think we are a little bit late, like always. Yes, you have a question?
Yeah, I got a question. First, thank you for coming here. First, thank you for coming here and giving your knowledge and your presence. So I like very much to listen to you. So and I will, as before, rewatch the whole talk on the Simhachalam temple. I had some problems to get my question into words, so I tried to write it down a bit. I would just try to.
Okay.
Yeah. The reason of my question is just a fruit of my pratyaksha and anumana here. For me, in the eyes of many grihastas, I saw, or grihastas, I saw the same withdrawal of masculinity as I observe in those men outside the temple, which I don't trust in terms of how they treat their women. And in the eyes of women here, I do observe either pure, naive ideas about men, or in case of marriage, a mixture of veiled gaze and exhausted love.
Exhausted love?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Eyes that are just exhausted of giving and give still a lot, but is a little bit like there is the love is not coming out like water coming out of the Was heißt Quelle? Weißt du, was Quelle heißt? More a water source. Spring, yes, but is kept down ice, and yes, and
I see you a poet.
yeah,
So it's a little bit hard to understand your question. What is the question?
the question. So yes, as far as I know, there is an ideal we try to follow, and there are things which happen on that way, and some of them help us to grow our spiritual consciousness, and some don't. That's why we have established certain rules and regulations, like how the prasadam is served. They are not the main goal, as I think, but they help. The main goal is to achieve. They help the main goal to be achieved as fast as possible. So now it seems that in the same way as we are here only a small part of the society, there is also a small part of society who tries to tell us that women suffer even greater dose of, let's say, not helpful experiences in Kali Yuga than men.
Yes. I'm not sure if I completely understood your question.
There is a question in the end of my wall of text, so...
oh, this is not the end?
Not yet. Yes, but it is not completely over long, I think. Yes, and there is a science of opening the heart for woman situation, which of course is young and not leading to the highest, but I guess for me it's a gift for many silenced souls there are out there. I guess, this nasty thing called feminism, as we hear at ISKCON, are maybe just called Hindus by people who don't know shit. So, in the same way as ISKCON doesn't want to treat flu, broken legs, or cancer, but a far broader problem, the way of opening the heart for the situation of women in Kali Yuga addresses a suffering which is so normal, so ordinary, that with low effort we could really make daily life for women less exhausting, and by that spiritual progress so much more undisturbed. So what's my question? Until fully nourished and independent through Krishna consciousness, how does man's desire for love, attention, and partnership with women is different here in the temple from man's desire for love, attention, and partnership outside the temple?
Okay, thank you for the question. Yes, this is a science of Krishna consciousness. So I'm stressing here in these lectures and seminars that we should know what is pure devotional service. If we don't know this, then we will pursue our material desires because we want to be happy. We are Ananda Mayobhyasat. We are the living beings of happiness. We are searching pleasure. Everyone, not just human beings. Only animals, ants, everyone is searching for pleasure. And if we don't know the science of Krishna consciousness, if we don't know the process of pure devotional service, if we don't know what is pure devotional service, every our action will be materially selfish and nothing else. If we misunderstand the devotional service, and I can see that even in this movement there are tendencies that pure devotional service is not important. And if we don't strive to achieve pure devotional service, if we don't follow the path of pure devotional service, then whatever we will do, it will be selfish. Not much different from the people outside, either men or women. And therefore we see women who are not properly dressed, even if they wear sari. Properly dressed to have understand?
Yeah, I understand.
So, for example, because they are expressing their femininity in the material way, and there are men who want to just enjoy women in just material way, because they don't have idea and knowledge about pure devotional service. What's the purpose of pure devotional service? And what's the science of pure devotional service? Therefore we should know what is pure devotional service. And then the marriage will not be mutual exploitation. Nowadays, very much emphasized the women's rights. But rights or no rights, the marriage in material consciousness is just mutual exploitation and nothing else. I exploit you. I allow you to exploit me because I exploit you. Yes. And if I consider that you exploit me more than I can exploit you, then I become mad and I want to divorce. It's because this is a business deal. In material life, everything is business deal, even marriage. And relationship between men and women, and children and parents, and teachers and students. Everywhere it's a business deal and nothing else. So we should know what is the process of pure devotional service, what is the science of pure devotional service. If we don't know this, then we will have only business deals in our life. And if we know the process of pure devotional service, then we know the whatever ashram we are in is not meant for my enjoyment. It's meant for the service. And man, husband and wife, they are meant for serving together. This is the system of pure devotional service. And so they are a team to serve the Lord more effectively and according to their nature. And if they understand this is my position and this is my nature, and because this is the verse we spoke just now, we should consider this is my nature. By body I have some certain nature. The nature, we explain this crudely that we should understand. The nature of a cow is different than the nature of a brahmana. We cannot treat in the same way a cow than a brahmana. So a child has also different nature than an adult person. So we should consider particular nature. And if we are in our biological given nature, by in Krishna given nature, then we can be peaceful and satisfied in the service of the Lord. If we are not, then so many complications will come. So many complications will come. And because we are not, then we will definitely be in conflict with other persons. And especially if the other person is also not in his or her nature, then it will be complete mess. And in modern society means complete mess in every level of existence. So devotees should learn the art, the science of pure devotional service. And when therefore I'm so much stressing this, that we should know what is pure devotional service. That we shouldn't pray for material benefits. For example, this is one thing. Not to pray for a good family, for a good wife, good husband, good anything, because then it is a business deal again with the Lord. I allow you to exploit me, the Lord, dear Lord, because I am working for you. This is your exploitation. And I will exploit you. So I demand to be healthy, to have a good family, to have a good car, good business. This is not pure devotional service, and therefore anything which is not pure devotional service is suffering. Is suffering. So the solution is pure devotional service. And then I agree with you. There are many ordinary material tendencies, even among devotees, and their relationship between husbands and wives. So that brings suffering. Because this is a business deal, not pure devotional service. Is this answers to your question? Hare Krishna. Okay, I think we should end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Please accept my humble obeisance.